Welcome to the Social Chameleon Show, where it's our goal to help you learn, grow, and transform the person you want to become. Today, it's book review time. We're doing what is water here, how young leaders can thrive in an uncertain world by Kayvan Kian. He's kind of a friend of mine too, so maybe I'm a little biased with this book. And I was also interviewed for the research phase of the book too. Maybe even more biased because of that as well. But it's fun participating in this and book. Quick little summary of the book here. It says here, we live in a world that feels increasingly volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. VUCA, and I think we'll get to that. He talks a lot about that word in the book. For young people, the sense of unease this world creates comes with serious difficulties. Many are asking, how can you lead, grow, and thrive in today's world? In What is Water, Kayvan shifts the focus away from this overwhelm and towards ways of thinking that will help you grow stronger through it all. Drawing on everything from ancient Stoic philosophy to contemporary examples, Kayvan delivers an approach for dealing with our VUCA world that is simple, pragmatic, and easily transferable to teams, families, and communities. You're not alone in the struggle, and with this book, you will be empowered with a strong sense of choice in life, no matter what kind of situations come your way. Kayvan is an entrepreneur, teacher, and management consultant at McKinsey & Company in Amsterdam. If you want to know more about him, I'll have his bio in the show notes. Mm-hmm. So, Ransom, maybe an unbiased view here from you. How did you like the book? What were your thoughts? Good, bad?
I guess it's just like, I don't know, for those of you reading it, like at the beginning is like, oh, this book may not be for you. And I was like, how do you know? But that's like, I was like, well, I mean, it is a good book in the context, under certain contexts. If you're looking for something that's kind of like, like a story driven or kind of like focus driven towards a particular one thing that you're trying to get out of it, this may not be the book for you. I'm of the mindset of having an open mind. So I definitely think that this book is worth reading because it has a lot of tools in it.
Yeah.
It's a good resource book, I guess, kind of say like a pocket. Trying to say like a handy.
Yeah, no, I've thought about that too, like a little reference manual, little field manual, something you can keep around.
Yeah, like a little field manual. It's like the best thing. For it, and
then was it 125 pages or something like that? 125
pages, something like that. And you can go in any order. Like you don't have to read the book front to back in any way, shape, or form. You can just kind of like pick it up and like, oh, what do I need help on today? And just like look through it and grab like good stuff out of it. And that's kind of what I liked about the book. And that's, to me, it's actually got a lot of good stuff in there. Mm-hmm. So
anything you didn't like, or is it just kind of good and then mediocre, or how did you think about that?
I'm going to say, for the most part, a lot of the exercises I knew how to do already. Mm-hmm. But then again, it's always good to have a good reminder. And there was some new stuff in there. I think we'll get into some of that. But, there is a good way that he kind of puts things together. And, it's very well put together. And he adds a new element to some of the exercises. So I kind of like that. But the only thing I really didn't like is like probably at least maybe we'll give him 40. Like 40% of the book is like nothing new. I've already seen it, done it, did it. The other 40%, I'm like, okay, there's a few good things in here. So
and that is what he starts with the book off kind of with it. This book contains exactly 0 new ideas. Instead, you will find a synthesis of many ways of thinking that help. And I like how he straight up was just like, listen, this is nothing new. But let me put this in a format to, keep these high level concepts, give you great exercises, some great questions, very well thought out. And like, I guess he was saying in the book as well, these questions have been morphed over time with a lot of things he does as a McKinsey consultant. He also has a young leaders forum he runs. He does guest lecturing and different things like that. So he has definitely been able to tweak these over the years and really find, and I like a lot of the way the questions are framed the way,
no, for sure. The exercises are good.
Yeah.
Even like some of the examples that he gives to the questions kind of like really like make you think like, oh, all right, I see what he's trying to get at.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really well put together.
Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of times I think we forget about when we read books, it's not to just read the book and put on yourself as a trophy. It's to take something from the book, whatever it is you're looking for, you can use, and implementing that. That's a lot of things we do. I'm guilty of it all the time. Read a book and you don't implement anything there. And the way he has it structured is there's at least answering the questions get you thinking, and there's that element of implementation that goes along with reading this book.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it's really well put together, and it's more of like a field manual kind of thing, for sure.
Definitely. It's a good book to keep around.
Yeah, not one of those things to just like read front back to cover. I mean, unless you are brand new to self-help or mental development kind of stuff, then it might be a good front to back cover for your first get-go, or maybe even your second or third. But other than that, I think just leave it at the field manual. Excellent for regular book. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and if you have the physical copy or the digital PDF type copy, there's great. It's laid out. The table of contents is laid out well. There's good appendixes with all kinds of different things in there to kind of help you navigate the book in a really simple, easy way.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, any other things we want to highlight before we kind of dive deep into some of these exercises in here? I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over a lot of the exercises as a way of kind of highlighting the book.
I don't even think this is a lot of the exercises. It's just two exercises out of it. And just from even there, like I said, the questions in the book and the way he puts it all together is really cool.
Yeah. So
one of the, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily call it a new idea, but the way that he kind of spun the idea that I liked is this whole idea about like developing yourself and your strengths and weaknesses. And then reading the book, I'm thinking, all right, strengths and weaknesses. Okay, I get it, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then he kind of threw on this new thing. He's like, well, let's add an additional element to it, as far as something that not only a strength is not only something that you're good at, but also gives you energy. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of cool. And then from there, when you break that down, he talks into these other two things, which are number one, which is a strenuous gift. So a strenuous gift is something that you are good at, yet to do it, it takes like so much energy out of you, just like draining. Versus a strength, you can just kind of do that naturally, no sweat. You can do that, and I can do this all day, man. Keep them coming. Yeah, but right. A strenuous gift, like, all right, I can do these, but it's work. Like, you feel it. And then the other one is going to be your hidden treasures, where stuff that you're not really good at, but you just kind of like it, like it's like, all right, I'm not really good at this, but you can keep these coming, man, because like this ain't nothing. So like it gives you energy, yet you're not good at it. And I was like, wait, slow motion aside. Yeah, but and those, and just that way of thinking to me is like, oh, you know what? Let's like put one of these exercises up here and give people a spin on that. And I think that this exercise kind of highlights one of the things I really enjoyed about the book. But yeah,
that was something interesting to think about as well. Which is why we kind of gravitated to some of these questions. Was I like how he put in the book when he was writing about the strenuous gifts. He says things that you're good at, but at the same time drain your energy. Again, this can be any skill depending on the person, and the risk of mistaking this category for a strength. Like, wow, it's like, you probably think of X as a strength of yours, as something you're good at, not realizing, not taking that step back to that time, that self-awareness kind of element of saying, I'm good at this. This is something, maybe why I work here, why I do this thing. But man, at the end of this thing, I am just wiped out. I'm just drained. And not thinking about that. I like how you had the opportunity to think about it. And then on the hidden treasures, a lot of times I think these are where, you have fun. Maybe there's a hobby, maybe whatever. And you don't start to think about developing that. Maybe you're not good at it now, but you enjoy it, but developing that and maybe into something else. Like a lot of people talk about, I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know, whatever. And I think this hidden treasure is a good place to explore something you enjoy. And maybe you're not good at it yet, but you can develop it as something you can become passionate about, it can become more than just a hobby, and you can maybe even spin it into a side hustle or a business or something like that. I think there's good things in between those two areas.
Yeah. And even in the book, like he takes it further. And like I said, like, you know, way he like lays the book out and like those exercises is really on point.
Mm-hmm.
But with the hidden treasures is like, you know, it's just something that gives you energy, something that you are, you know, I guess enthusiastic about, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can be an enthusiast about something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, you know, but break that down. It's like, if you're enthusiastic about this thing, like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, if you can break that one item down and kind of find, okay, I like doing X, Y, Z per se, even though I suck at it. Right. You know what I mean? It gives me, you know, like for me, I guess a good example is like playing Super Smash Bros. Like, I love playing that game. Like, I play a game all day, even though I'm horrible at it. Like, my son can whoop my butt at that game, but I still like it, you know? But then when you break it down, it's like, well, what do I really like about the game? You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm not good at it, but what do I like about it? What things energize me about it? It's like, you know, it has a wide variety of characters in it. You have to like learn it. It has a lot of stages in it. So like, you know, I like the learning aspect of it. I like the mind games that you have to play with the game. And like, you know, just in those subtle little things that you can like about doing something, you can find out one of your strengths. Because one of those subtle little things you might actually be really good at. And that might be one of your strengths that you just never knew.
Yeah. I think back to that concept of, you know, getting comfortable, being uncomfortable and that type of thing. Like, you know, that element of it. Like, I think a hidden treasure I think about for me is I enjoy going fishing. I suck at it. Horrible. But I enjoy aspects of it. Like, I enjoy trying to slow down, trying to be patient, you know, and those are things. I'm not something I like to just go 100 miles an hour, and patience is not in my vocabulary, but it's something there that is fun. Like, how can I, you know, whether it's technique or different things, and how can I just sit there and enjoy fishing? It's not catching, it's fishing. Like, you know, what can I do to
everybody likes catching,
right? Everybody loves catching, but the fishing part, that's the hard part, you know? And to me, that's the fun part, where it's like, you know, and I find myself like, after a while of, you know, of getting skunked for a while, and you start to get anxious, like, oh, what can I do? I'm gonna start speeding this up, and I'm gonna start doing this, and I'm gonna start doing all these things. I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try that. And especially when you have access to, you know, your phone and the internet, you're like, I've caught myself before, like, let me watch a YouTube video real quick and see what I'm doing. And I'm like trying to hurry up and get the catching going, and really missing out on the trueness of it, of that opportunity to be still, to be patient, and to develop some of those skills that go along with something like fishing.
Yeah. And then in this case, I mean, I don't know if this is can't remember if it's in the book or not, but this is the part where, you know, for you being this hidden treasure of yours, like, you can kind of use patience. You can use fishing as a way to kind of like pull patience into the rest of what you do in your life.
Right.
I mean, it's like, you understand that, but when I go fishing, like, this is something I suck at, yet it gives me energy, so I'm going to do it. And then with that, you learn a new skill of patience. And then now you can take that to something else, you know, whether it be like talking to a client, or whether it be like blogging or something. And it's like, oh, I just want to hurry up and answer this person's question. And then you might just be like, you know what, maybe I'll take the fishing approach here and just kind of slow down. And, you know what I mean? Like, just like,
exactly. It's an opportunity to train in something, you know what I mean? A lot of times, you know, we don't take those opportunities to do our training until it's live, it's ready to go. And then now you're in this moment of panic or, you know, stress or whatever. And it's like, you didn't train for this. You had no experience in this at all. And I think that's the part of the hidden treasures, where it's an opportunity to do some training. There's no high stakesness on the line. There's no, you know, deal on the line or whatever it is, you know, losing your job, you know what I mean? All these different things that come up, where you can look back on this and say, I spent some time training here.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just it too. I mean, even with the thing where you're unprepared or whatever, like, you know, you could easily gain a strenuous gift when you're not prepared. You know what I mean? It's like, you're like, oh, you get hit, you get slammed. Like, you could be very good at doing impromptu things, or very good at improvising, yet it takes a lot out of you. You know, I kind of found that in my real estate days. It's just like, I liked being in that uncomfortable position, because that's just, I'm good at it. I work best when my back is against the wall and like, I don't know what's going on yet. Being in that position like really drains me and like puts me, I mean, I feel good at the end of the day, and I'm just like totally, completely like wiped out and drained. And, you know, it's like, that's, you know, something that you were saying earlier, I thought was a gift of mine, but come to find out it's a strenuous gift. It's not a true strength. It's not something that I can pull off and then like easily do. Like, it's something that I can do, but at the end of the day, I'm going to pay for it.
Yeah. And if you don't take the time to think about what are the downstream effects of this, I mean, think about a typical 9 to 5 and at 10 a.m., like boom, you get hit with a strenuous gift task. And then noon, you're like, I'm wiped for the rest of the day. Now you're ineffective for the rest of the entire day. Or, you know, if you think about it in the end, you know, you're home, you're chilling 7 p.m. and you're like, all of a sudden something comes up and you're like, boom, my strenuous gift has come to the task. Now I'm not going to bed till 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's like, you know, like boom, like all of a sudden you're like, shit. And taking that time and awareness to be able to look at that and say, this is going to drain me. What part of my day do I want to maybe engage in this type of activity? And setting up maybe your schedule. If you could say, I know when I do this, it's draining. So if I do this at 3 o'clock and I'm wiped at 5, that's good because I'm done. I'm leaving. Everything's off my plate. This is the last thing I'm going to do today and head out the building. You know, that's something you can set yourself up for a little bit of success with.
Yeah. And like, again, these are like concepts that I just like, for whatever reason, either I missed them in lessons before or just kind of hit home with me. It's like, you know what? Like, this is a good thing to share with people about this book. We're going to do this book review because these two things, I don't think very many people think about. They just think, oh yeah, I'm good at that. I'm good at that. I'm good at that. They don't necessarily think about how much time or how much energy or how much resource goes into it. Mm-hmm. And even the stuff that they don't really like, they're not very good at. Like, there's like, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm not good at it. Mm-hmm. Yet you may not realize that there is something about that activity that feeds you, you know, even though you're not good at it, like it still feeds you and you can learn from that. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's good. And even using that same framework from the strength, if you use that hidden gift and you say, I'm not good at this, but I enjoy it, and making sure you have the time and the bandwidth to be able to go through that activity. Because sometimes those are going to take longer. They're going to take more effort, more energy, and understanding like, you know, I'm not good at this, but if I've got a 3-hour window, I know I can accomplish this. It's going to take me a long time, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge, the learning, whatever it is you're enjoying about that. But being aware of the element that you need, the space or whatever you need to accomplish that thing. I've never thought about these things in these contexts. And that's the thing, you know, when you start to book off with that line of, you know, if you have these things down, this is not for you. And the very first thing I think is, yeah, well, I'm sorry, bud. I want to do a book review, but I guess I better close this up.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing too. When I, you know, like I said at the get-go, I was like, you know, the person you're describing is who I at least think I am. Mm-hmm. And like, I called it from the beginning. I would know a lot of things in this, but I look for stuff like hidden treasures, you know what I mean? It's stuff that's like just out there, whatever, but it's going to give me energy. It's going to feed me. And just little things like this, like I may have wasted an hour or whatever, but I got something out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but really, was it a waste when you learn something or you have a new perspective or somebody says sometimes, you know, like the other day I was at this class and 4 or 5 of us told this guy the same thing and our own slightly different spin on it. And he just wasn't getting it. And then somebody else came through and said essentially the exact same thing in a slightly different way. And he was like, oh, is that what you guys were trying to tell me this whole time? Yes. But that's the thing. If you think I already know this shit, I've already know this stuff, and you go into something, you go into a book, you go into whatever saying, I already know this stuff, guess what? You're not learning anything.
Yeah.
You know, versus getting this book and saying, I know these things, but there's gotta be something. I'm expecting a nugget of wisdom, a different spin on a concept I never thought of, a different way he says something that now makes it click in my brain. And that's the thing. We got to go into these things, grabbing books, taking classes, whatever it is, saying, I know this stuff, but there's going to be something here I'm going to learn. I'm going to get either better at it. I'm going to have a better understanding of it. Somebody's going to say something in a way that's going to click all of a sudden. So that's the thing. Like I think we should do a lot more is going to these things with a little bit more of an open mind saying, I hope there's something I can learn from Bob or this book or whatever it is, even though I already know this material. Either I'm going to deepen my learning of it or I'm going to find a new perspective on something.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess before we get into the next things, I just kind of want to reiterate what we're talking about here. So the question is, what are your strenuous gifts? Mm-hmm. And these are things that you are definitely good at, yet it takes a lot of energy and resources to accomplish these things. Mm-hmm. So just kind of sit down and to me, I think that's a question that you can get out there and do. Yeah. For me, strenuous gift, if I could answer that question, would be doing stuff like real estate, being stuff like when I'm pinned up against a wall or I have a deadline to meet, like I'm super good at getting that accomplished and getting it done. Yet at the end of the day, that kind of thing, just like expenditure, like I'm spent after I do it. And then the other question is going to be, what are your hidden treasures? And from that would be things that you're not very good at, yet they energize you or they recharge you, And like I said, for me, it's just like playing Super Smash Bros. A stupid game. Like I suck at it. I hate it. As far as sucking at it, I wish I was a lot better. But playing it, like there's something about it. There's something about the way that, you have to adapt the game, the way you have to play it, that just kind of like energizes me and like gets me motivated. So I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, those are good examples. And then I guess the next set of questions we picked out, and in these exercises, this is not all of the questions. There's a couple that we like. So do go through the exercises.
Yeah.
And answer all the questions. Take the time to answer these questions. It's a good thought exercise at the least. And I think you're gonna find a lot of clarity and be able to shape your day, your career, your life, and different things that you're doing. Mm-hmm. So this next one here is, I'll just read this out here. Take a few minutes to think about all the people in the world who could possibly care about you, either in your daily life or in the background area of your life. These people could have a large impact on your life or enrich it through small acts of kindness or support. How often do you sit back and think about that? That's something really to spend some time thinking about, like all these people that are supporting you. Sometimes you might just be fucking irritated at them and pissed off at them. Taking the opportunity to say, man, thank you for being in my corner. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for supporting me, even though you think I'm dumb or you think I'm doing something wrong or whatever it is. Even if you don't say nothing to them, giving that thought to yourself, putting that energy out, as there's this type of meditation called metta, where it's this like loving kindness kind of thing. And this is along those lines of sending that out through yourself, saying, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for enriching my life. Thank you for mentoring me. You know what I mean? Even if they're not real direct things, I really like this question thought.
Yeah, no, even in this, maybe not in this exercise, but in other exercises that he is like, just thinking about these people and thanking them. I think in one of the exercises, he says like, something you're grateful for, write a letter about.
Yeah.
But don't send a letter. Like, you don't ever have to send a letter. Like the person that you are, awesomely like owe everything to and care about, like you can write them a letter, yet you don't have to send it. Mm-hmm. Like, you write the letter for yourself so that you can envelop these feelings of kindness and support and lovingness and, just putting yourself in a positive state, in a positive mood. I do a lot of, I guess, positive thinking when I go running and stuff. And, when I first get up, I go run and then I think about positive things, and I don't think about every single person.
Yeah.
But I definitely do think about a lot of things, and a lot of people come up when I'm in that mode of like just being grateful for things. And I guess as of recently, I've come across a few people in my life who I just always get upset at me because I never really tell them thank you. Just like for small little stuff here and there. Like I'm a big ticket kind of person. Like if you do something big, or if you know who I am, or you do the research and you get me a gift that like really means something to me, then I'll be like, yes, thank you. And I'll thank you forever for that. But like the little stuff, like I'm not so big on. And, a few people around me in my recent space have just kind of tried to remind me of that. Like, look, you got to say thank you for like the littlest things. Like, I understand they're not as important to me as they should be, but the person that cares about you, the person that wants to support you and do something for you. Like, it's just a little thing that they're doing, you know what I mean? And just that small little thank you, like you'd be surprised at how much it can even just enlighten your own life, if not the other person is thinking about you.
And that works really well if you are a manager or owner or something like that. And you tell let your employees and your staff and whatever, your team members know that, thank you for your hard work. Show that appreciation. That goes a long, long way. And a lot of people, when they quit jobs or they're frustrated jobs, it's that lack of appreciation that's there. But it's, if you genuinely, God, you guys know what I mean? Give that and say that and show that. I'm the same way, Ransom. Like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. There's no thank you from me. There's no tip from me. Like, it's what you're supposed to be doing. I shouldn't have to tell you thank you. Shouldn't expect nothing from me. Like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I forget that. Like, when you have to acknowledge people, like, thank you for doing what you're supposed to be doing. I really appreciate it. Because there's a lot of things you shouldn't be doing that you're not doing. And I also appreciate that,
Yeah.
And the opportunity to remind yourself of that.
I mean, that happens anywhere, as far as it goes. But I'm not sure if it was this exercise too, but the book even takes it further. It's like, how to show people that you care. Like, you got to pay attention to what's important to the other person.
Yeah.
I mean, are they like Tyson and I, where if you thank them on just the littlest things, like they're just going to like brush you aside. Like, they don't really consider that caring. You know what I mean? I'm like that. It's like, if I do little things for you here and there, like, you're just going to keep thanking me. It's like, okay, like, stop being a broken record. Like, I don't need to hear thank you 10 million times a day for, like Tyson said, for something that I should already be doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I do a big ticket item, you need to thank me for that. And if you miss that, then I'm not going to feel that you care about me. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to understand the other person.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, understand what is gratitude to them and what is caring for them, so that, you can show that you care for this person, and vice versa. They can show that they care for you. So,
I've been noticing that with my kids. One wants a little bit more of the, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, thank yous. Another one's like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, don't thank me. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And understanding which one needs which can really go a long way in your relationship as a parent and stuff like that. So this is a good exercise. I really think this can open up a lot, especially if you're like us and you are just not into that.
Yeah.
So it helps. I've noticed, like I said, it helps. And sometimes that's all people really need, is just that thank you, just that show of appreciation, that pat on the back, that handshake. We always think a lot of, well, I have to give you something, or it has to be this thing, or and it doesn't have to be something monetary or something of some type of perceived value. It can just be as simple as thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You're dependable, whatever it is. Like, think about these people in your life, write a list out, and maybe even, you'll go thank them.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just all about just being in that environment of being thankful, being grateful, living with support around you, feeling that support, feeling kindness, and to just take things even further. I know we're just getting a little into the weeds on this one question again, but there was times when I was going through troubles, and for whatever reason, Sundays was like always the worst day for me, because that was the day that I had to like drop my son off with the other half, and like I didn't get to see him for a while, and like Tyson was there for me, and like I didn't need anything from him at all. We just do our normal thing. Just like Sundays, he always knew I'd call him up, be like, hey, Tyson, like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, nothing, man. He's like, just come over, whatever. We'll do our normal thing. And just that alone. I mean, like, thank you, Tyson. Thank you for that, man.
You're welcome.
But just that whole thing, like, there's nothing special about it. It was just our regular Sunday, everyday routine thing. We just hung out and shot the shit, or whatever we did. Like, there was nothing special. We didn't like go to concerts or do something crazy or anything like that on that Sunday. We just like hang out, eat dinner, and like relax.
Right.
Like, that's all we did.
Or play a video game or something. Yeah.
That small act for me meant a lot. And I'm not sure if Tyson really knew that or not, but for me,
not really, not to that level, but yeah.
Yeah. But like, for me, that meant a lot, because like I was really hurting, even though I never show it, because I'm not that type of person. not going to show somebody that I'm hurting, whatever the case might be. But just doing that simple act on Sunday, like that saved my life so many times. Like I leave his house and I just feel so much better about myself. I feel like somebody cares about me. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be anything big. It could be the smallest little thing that somebody just likes about you or feels that you care about them. And I don't know, I'm not trying to beat the dead horse, but just want to say that this can go a lot further than what you think it is.
Absolutely. And the next question we picked out of this exercise, this was from, I think a slightly different, is it the same exercise or is it a different exercise?
I think it's the same exercise, but like, you guys got to understand when they do these exercises, like he doesn't just ask just these two questions. Like he'll ask you the question and then he'll give you examples. Then he'll break down and go, how can you get even further into this question? And like, these are just kind of like the subcategories. Once again, can't say it enough. It's actually put together really well for the field manual sorts. But anyway, go ahead with the question.
Yeah. So this is the next exercise in that section. So, and this is a really good one. I think that's really good to think about and act on. So here it goes here. Whom do you want to create a deeper relationship with? How could you achieve this? Now, I would like to broaden this in your thought of this to maybe even, you don't have to know this person. You don't have to be friends with this person. They could be alive or dead. You know, you could even think about this as somebody you want to emulate or they want to be a mentor. And you can deepen your relationship by reading their books, taking their courses, whatever it is that they're doing. So, don't limit yourself to somebody you know.
Yeah. But even then, I mean, even if it is somebody you know, like, are there relationships out there that you should have a really good relationship with that person, but for whatever reason you don't? Maybe like somebody like your boss because you hate their guts. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you have to be best buds with your boss,
right?
But could you have a stronger relationship with your boss than what it is right now? How could you do that? Wouldn't that be important to you to have a strong relationship with your boss? A lot of people are like, no, I hate that guy, whatever. But really, I think if you had a stronger relationship with your boss, it might make your life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Or, tough family disputes and debacles. Mommy, daddy, brother, sister, cousin, nephew. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I hate my brother. He's always taking my toys. But you know what I mean? Like, there are things out there, like outside looking in, like we just get into these patterns of just like, oh man, like whatever, this is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. You can try to achieve something. You can try to create this new thing, whatever it might be. I don't know.
Yeah. And, another angle on this, hate and anger and all these things, they last longer than the situation does, Yeah. So in order to maybe, the how-to part of this question is, in order to build a deeper relationship with somebody, whoever it is, family or not, or whatever, do I need to forgive them? Do I need to move past this, this thing that happened, and, giving yourself the permission, the opportunity to say, you know what, this was shitty, whatever went down, but I forgive you. Maybe they didn't know any better. Maybe they thought they were doing the best that they knew how, the best that they could. And just forgiving them, that might be the step you need to take to start to rebuild this, to start to create that deeper relationship with somebody. So, think about that too. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. Letting yourself off the hook a little bit and letting go of that anger or that resentment or whatever it is you have. I think that's something that we might overlook in this question, is something like that, and taking the forgiveness route in order to answer the first part of the question.
Yeah. And then just taking that a little bit further is like, the question, how could you achieve this? Like, just think about every situation that comes up in life in general, I guess, with either somebody you know or somebody you don't know. But you can take every single situation that comes up and turn that into something positive.
Yeah.
Because if I remember on this specific exercise, he talks about two friends having a conversation. And in that conversation, he gives like ways that the conversation can go.
Yeah.
And like, from there, it's like one way. If you answer one way and you go down this rabbit hole, like you're actually furthering your relationship from this person by going down route A. Versus if you would have went down route B, now you could have brought your relationship with this person to be closer. And like this happens all the time, every day, you know?
Yes.
It's like, happens all the time, man. I see it. I see it all the time, and I'm guilty of it too. It's like somebody comes up to me looking for support and kindness, and I'll just be myself and do whatever, not even thinking about what they need. And all of a sudden, our relationship is now distant because I'm just repeating the pattern. Instead of something that I should have done and paid attention to, I could have turned that situation to make our relationship closer instead of the distance that we have now. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, no. A thing I like in this book and I've been learning a lot about and trying to practice a lot about is, you know, things don't have inherent meanings. You know, you assign them anger, sadness, excitement. So when somebody does something to you, they're not actually doing anything to you. You're assigning that meaning to this words, sentence, situation, whatever it is. And he talks a bit about that in here. And I really like practicing and learning this. It's super hard, especially when things always anger you, always upset you, and saying, this thing's not doing it to me. The traffic isn't making me angry. I'm getting angry because the traffic is there, because this guy cut me off. And practicing these things, it's really good. And having that, you know, that mental thought of, you know, my kid's not making me angry. I'm getting angry because of what's happening here. And I need to take the opportunity to stop assigning these meanings to things and trying to frame them in a different way. He talks a bit about this. They talk a lot about that in Stoicism and different things like that. But that's something I also like to try and practice. And it's hard, especially things that irritate you and people that just get under your skin like that. It's tough. It really is. But it's good when you can step back and just let things be what they are. This is just this. This is just what they said. I'm not trying to put things onto it, put meanings, infer things. It's hard, but it's a good exercise.
Yeah, and I remember we were talking about this book earlier, like talking about ideas for the show. We're like talking about like person who goes to Starbucks and they're like all upset because, you know, they put in regular milk instead of soy milk. Mm-hmm. It's like, are you really mad that you've got regular milk instead of soy milk? Because like, if your day comes down to you can just flip the script and get all upset and bent out of shape because of a cup of coffee, like, is that real?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you might want to take a step back and kind of think like, is it really the coffee that's making me upset? Or is there something else in my life that I'm not handling right now? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or even the way you handle yourself and you handle problems like that. Super simple. Oh my God, this is regular milk. Hey, sorry, I must have not been clear on this. I really need soy milk. I have a thing in my stomach. So easy to handle that. Maybe you just can't do that. And you're mad at yourself for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe you are doing something that you think is your strength, but it's actually a strenuous gift. And it's draining all of your energy so that when you come up to circumstances like getting the wrong cup of coffee or hitting traffic or XYZ, well, you know, it's raining outside. Yeah. Like, are you really mad at that? Or is there something else behind all of it? But that's looking a little further into the book than meets the eye. But at the same time, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, I got a quick little example of that. So last week or the week before, whatever it was, I had an appointment on Thursday. I didn't really realize it was Thursday morning when I was calling, and Friday was the next day. So I was like, I'm sorry, you know, can I move this to Friday? And what they heard was next Friday. My mind, what I was saying was tomorrow, but I didn't use tomorrow. So I didn't realize it was tomorrow, was Friday. And so I showed up, you know, thinking at the time of my appointment, this is Friday, the day I was asking for, the time we agreed on. And I showed up and they're like, what are you doing here, Tyson? I'm like, I've got a 3:00 appointment. They're like, yeah, next Friday. And I was like, oh, shit. And it's like, they're like, oh, we're so sorry. And I was like, no, you know, it's my fault. I obviously didn't convey that I meant tomorrow. Right. But I could have easily just been like, you guys are so fucking stupid. Like, why was this so difficult? I cleared my day for this. I spent all this effort getting ready, coming here. Like, I could have easily gone down that road, and demanded maybe to get in or something, I easily could have gone all through all of that. But it was like, no, I must have not conveyed the message that I meant tomorrow, not realizing Friday was tomorrow, and that's just a story, whatever it is, to just, to go along with this and saying, you don't have to assign these things. You don't have to do these things. These things don't have to upset you in these ways. When you start to practice this stuff more, it will become easier to not get mad. I would have easily some years ago been like, you guys are dumb fucking idiots. Like, how the hell could you not confirm to me, was it tomorrow you're asking for, or was it next week you're asking for? Like, I could have easily blamed them a lot of the things that happened there. But why? What was getting all upset? What's all that going to do? I'm going to sour this relationship with these people. Every time Tyson's just a fucking asshole. He comes in here and fucking yells at us. We made a simple mistake. You know what I mean? Like, so much stuff was going to go in behind all of that. So food for thought there with that. Anything else, Ransom, with the book you wanted to cover? I know we just went over a few questions.
Yeah. Well, I guess just summing it all up, but you know what I mean? Like, this book, he talks about the VUCA world, right? And it's basically just an acronym, right? V stands for volatile, U stands for uncertain, C stands for complex, A stands for ambiguous. Like, there's so many things out there that, are just not in your control, and B, just there is no rhyme or reason or explanation for any of it. Like, anything can happen at any moment in this world, and that's what makes it volatile and uncertain and complex all at the same time. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. And, a lot of these exercises in this book, this field manual of sorts, can kind of help you understand that, there's a lot of stuff out there that, you just sometimes maybe just got to look at it either with a different lens, or, focus on something else rather than what you think it's supposed to mean. All those kinds of things. And that's, if I had to like sum up the book, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, that's kind of what the book is about, even though the exercises are kind of out there. They go from all kinds of places, like something simple to something abstract. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of my last say I had on the book review. I don't know. Anything else?
Perfect. No, I think that really sums it up. We like doing our giveaways. One side note on giveaways here is somebody didn't claim a signed copy of this book when I did the original giveaway. So if you're interested in getting a signed copy of this book, first person to message me is yours. I'll send it out to you free of charge. But if you're looking for our regular giveaways, head over to the socialchameleon.show/pick-me. See what we got going on for this new decade, this new year, this new month. Every month we do something different. Go over to the socialchameleon.show/pick-me. See what we got. We do all kinds of things. We do books, courses, whatever we can get our hands on, we enjoy and we want to share with you. Like I said, head over there, see what we got going on every month. I'll link to this book, more about Kayvan and different things he's up to if you're interested in looking at that. I kind of want to leave this kind of as just a book there. I don't want to put any other things in there. There's definitely things within this book, which is a good way to find books, is within other books, what they're referencing, things that they go and then expand your knowledge on this topic. So see what's in this book as far as recommendations go for more books in this kind of area of ideas and expertise. Did you have any books you wanted to expand on this?
Like I said, this is actually pretty well put together. It's a field manual for say. I'm trying to think of other field manuals off the top of my head, but
Jocko's got some good ones.
I don't have those right off the get-go, but yeah. It's just like any of the other field manuals that you have. But again, I think it's put really well together, and the exercises flow pretty good. So yeah. Cool.
And then I'll also link to the website. It's got some great articles that get a little bit more in depth in some of these topics. Head over there and check that out. And another a related resource, I think he pulled a lot of information and ideas from is the Daily Stoic. I'll link to that if you're interested in getting into more of those ideas as well. And then this week's challenge, I'm going to pull a challenge from one of the exercises in the book. It's on gratitude, and I think it's a very important thing. I know we've done that challenge a lot here, but I want to give you new information, new avenue, a new way of thinking about it. So what we want to do here is take a moment to think about these questions. What do you deeply value about the here and now? What would you miss if you didn't have it anymore? What do you appreciate not having in your surroundings? What are all the things that support your answer to these questions?
Nice.
Write that down. Think about these things.
Yeah. And then for the final thoughts, this book kind of lingers around things that are within your control and or outside of your control. Things like the weather or the guy at Starbucks messing up your coffee or the traffic. You don't have any control over any of those things at all. Yeah. So just kind of think about that, and let's just take that to the next level. Just imagine that there was a world where you can control everything. Anything that you want is at your fingertips. It's at your command to do whatever you want it to do. And I think that this book kind of gets down to focusing on maybe not anything, but focusing on a lot more of the things that are actually within your control, are at your fingertips and under your command. And I believe that the more that you are able to grasp these things, the more you're able to control in your life, the better your life will be.
Absolutely. And if you're looking to give that gift to somebody else in your life, share this episode with them. It's a great way to support the show. And so, you can also leave likes, reviews, whatever you want on your favorite podcast apps, as well as YouTube and whatnot. You can connect with us between episodes at the Social Chameleon Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube if you like the video version of this podcast or your favorite podcast app. For past episodes and links to everything we talk about here today, you can visit socialchameleon.show. And until next time, keep learning, growing, and transforming into the person you want to become.